bitch crazy. I like this book. Like, good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. Sarah here. Hope everyone is doing great. We about midway through March. I hope the month is going great for you. It's going pretty good for myself, okay? It is Sunday, start of a new week, you know, good vibes. I'm pretty excited about today's video. I'm kind of like testing the waters a little bit to see if I like doing these videos and like if you guys like these videos. Today's video is going to be a book review, okay? Because honestly, I'm back in my reading era, okay? Well, I'm just gonna do like a little review on all of them, except for one of them, because one of them I'm currently reading right now. So if you're interested in books, if you're a reader, an avid reader, or you're somebody who wants to get back into reading, then just keep watching because I have a few book suggestions for you that you may like. Okay, so let's get into it, okay? I think I'm gonna start with like the kind of like, I'm gonna start with the self-help book, okay? I do like reading self-help books because I'm really into like personal development and like making myself like better and just like learning all that, you know, I can learn to just be the best me. So I love self-help books. The first book that I read, this was January and February's book. It kind of took me like a while to read this book because again, it's a self-help book. So like those books, I do like to take my time on them just to make sure that I'm really like getting everything that I need to get out of it. I don't want to just like read it, you know? So it took me a lot longer to read this book, but it's called The Book of Boundaries, okay? Set the limits that will set you free, okay? And it's by Melissa Urban. This book right here, it was actually a book that was recommended to me by my therapist. And because at the time when she recommended it, I really was struggling in this department of boundaries. I got a lot out of this book. Some of like my key takeaways from it is the fact that boundaries are necessary, okay? Boundaries are so important to you, and boundaries have nothing to do with the other person. One thing about setting boundaries is that you can't set a boundary to force somebody to do something. You can't set a boundary. So you can't enforce a boundary that if somebody comes over to your house, you know, they can't, you can't tell somebody to not smoke. You can't force them to not smoke if that's what they want to do. But however, to enforce a boundary for yourself, then the boundary would be that you cannot smoke in my house. You can smoke outside on the patio, in the backyard, on the front yard, but you cannot smoke in the house, okay? That's not controlling the person, that's setting a boundary that like you can smoke, you can't smoke in the house. You can go outside and smoke all you want, but you just can't do it in the house. So that is an example of like setting like a healthy boundary, you know? And also boundaries with yourself, you know, you're not gonna talk down to yourself, okay? You're not, one moment. All right, sorry about that, y'all. My groceries just got delivered, so I had to bring them inside. So yeah, Book of Boundaries is just such a good book. It really teaches you like how to set boundaries with yourself and with people in your life, which I think is so important. Like, and having strong boundaries is honestly, it's the best thing you can do for yourself and the relationships that you have. You know, I feel like it really teaches you that boundaries are actually very empowering. So when you have healthy boundaries with people, you just feel so much better about yourself. Now, that's not to say that setting boundaries, sometimes when you set boundaries, people don't respect them. People, because they're so used to you not having boundaries, that now that you are practicing having boundaries and you're setting boundaries with them, they don't know what to do. they start acting a fool. And that's okay. It's not your responsibility to make somebody respect your boundaries. Your only responsibility is to set them, and if somebody doesn't want to respect them, then that's a very clear indicator that they're not for you. If they can't respect your boundaries, how can they respect you? You know? Especially if they understand that boundaries are healthy and boundaries are good. Boundaries help relationships, okay? Having good boundaries will strengthen every relationship that you have. So that's a very clear indicator. When I started setting boundaries, I definitely feel like I start tussling like a lot of feathers with like people in my life. But and honestly, the people that I tussle with, they're not even here. They're not even in my life anymore. So just saying it, set boundaries and you'll really like clear out your life, and what you'll be left with are healthy people who are actually like good for you. Even if you feel like you have good boundaries, I feel like you could never stop improving your boundaries, you know? So it goes over like boundaries for work, for relationships, for marriages, you know, for yourself, and boundaries with your family. Now I have better boundaries. Now it's like I just respect myself and I just love myself more, to the point where I'm like, no, this is what I'm not going to accept. Now, if this is just who you are, this is just who you are. Again, a boundary, I'm not trying to change you, okay? I'm just saying that this is how you are. It doesn't work for me. So we should probably maybe part ways, and not just romantically, like any type of relationship, you know? If it's just not working, it's just not working. I'm not trying to change you. Be who you are. You just ain't gonna do that over here. The next book that I have is The Perfect Marriage, okay? This marriage is anything but perfect. So this is The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose, a completely gripping psychological suspense thriller book. And it is, like, it really is psychological. It is diabolic, okay? This is a book that you're not gonna be able to put down. So basically, Sarah and Adam, they're married, okay? And they're having issues. She's a successful lawyer. She's named partner at her firm. He is a struggling writer who used to be a Times bestseller, but now he's like struggling in the writing department. She's always gone. She's always at work. She's the breadwinner. He's kind of like feeling some type of way, but because she's always busy, so she doesn't have time for him. So there's already like fractures in the marriage. But what we soon learn in chapter 2 is that Adam had a side piece. Adam had a mistress, okay, that he was seeing for over a year. They have like a little like cabin, like second home cabin that they have. The wife, Sarah, never goes. Adam, he spends a lot of time there, and that's also where he brings his mistress, to the point the mistress even has a key there, okay? So they spend a lot of time there. That's kind of where they go and just get away and just be together. Now, the mistress also has a husband, so she is also a married woman, okay? So neither one of them really plan to leave their spouses to be together, even though they say they want to be together. So it's just real messy, okay? The mistress actually gets killed, and now they're pointing the finger at Adam. So now Adam's locked up, okay, because his mistress is murdered. They murdered at their guest house. So obviously, you know, Adam's gonna be the culprit, you know. They do a DNA test and all these tests, and it's his DNA that's all up in the mistress, okay? So he gets arrested at his marital house, okay? And he finds out that now Kelly, which is the mistress's name, is dead. And Sarah, being a defense attorney, she finds this out, and she actually starts representing her husband. Yes, she is defending her husband in a murder trial for murdering his mistress. Sarah, she's a piece of work, okay? Like, she is a piece of work. She is ruthless. She's pretending like, you know, everything's fine. She's even pretending to be heartbroken that he cheated on her and stuff like that. But she goes through the whole spiel, okay? Really makes you think that she's helping him. But at the end, it's found out that she actually got him to plead guilty to something that she knows that he didn't do. He is found guilty, so he's gonna be put, I think, capital injection. He's gonna be killed himself, you know, with the needle. He's gonna get the needle, because it also turns out that Kelly was also pregnant, so it's double homicide. But that's the thing, Adam didn't do it. Adam did not do it. After Adam is found guilty and he gets the needle, you know, that at the end it says that Sarah did it, okay? Sarah knew that Adam was cheating. Sarah knew that Adam had a mistress, had somebody on the side, because she's a smart woman. She knew. So she actually, you know, went to the cabin beforehand, set everything up, got the liquor that Adam likes. So she actually spikes the drinks, spikes the canteen with the liquor in it. Okay, so now Adam and Kelly, you know, they're doing what they do, but they're really out of it, you know. So it's because that they were drugged and that it was really heavy. So like when they went to sleep, they were so knocked out, it was so heavy that Adam, they didn't even know that Sarah was in the house. So Sarah snuck into the house and she put a tarp over Adam so that the blood splatter wouldn't get on Adam, and she actually stabs Kelly to death, okay? And Sarah in the book is described as a really like frail, petite woman. She's maybe like 5'2", she's super skinny, maybe like 100-something pounds. She stabbed this woman to death, okay? Drugged her and stabbed her to death herself with no help, and then framed her husband to take the rap for it. Like, I don't know if I feel some type of way, because he did cheat on her pretty much in their house still with somebody else. But then she went home after she killed Kelly. She drove back to their main house, got in bed, and acted like nothing happened when Adam came creeping back to their house later that night or early that morning. She got away with it because once Adam was found guilty, they had no reason to look at that case any further. So she killed the mistress and she got her husband killed too. Her two main problems gone. As a lawyer, she got away with double homicide and got her husband to take the rap for it. And then went on with her life, got remarried, and actually had a baby with somebody, with a man that she loved. My thing is, why didn't you, when you found out that your husband was cheating, why didn't you just divorce him? Like, why'd you go through this elaborate plot to like kill the mistress and then have your husband take the blame for it? Just divorce him. But it seems like in the book, the way it was described was that she didn't want him to be able to still live and I guess have his happy ending. I don't know. I just think that's a whole lot of work. Just go get the divorce. Just get the divorce. Switching gears, okay, we have another book, Verity, okay? This book right here, so we're at Colleen Hoover now, and it says, sublimely creepy with a true Hoover pulse. I've been waiting for a thriller like this for years. A thriller it is. Now this book was recommended to me by one of like my old friends, like one of my old friends from high school. We used to cheer together. And she was like, yeah girl, like get this book. This book is so dark and twisted. So there's a girl named Lowen. She's also a struggling writer in New York, okay? She gets this opportunity from her publisher, and it's to finish the last 3 books in the series by this renowned author named Verity. She takes a deal because they're offering her like $750,000. She goes to Verity and Jeremy's house. Now Verity, okay, is in a coma. Well, not in a coma. She was in a car accident. She ran into a tree, got wrapped around the tree, but she survived. Okay. Now, so she's living back home now, but she needs like around the clock care. So she is a nurse and everything, and she doesn't speak. Like, she can't speak. She has very little like movement. So, or as it seems, she has very little movement. Okay. So Lowen gets there. You know, she stays in the main bedroom, which is downstairs, because that's what's closest to the office. Lowen kind of has like this attraction to Jeremy, and she can't really like describe it. And Jeremy also has a son as well. So Jeremy and Verity actually had 3 kids. They had a set of twins, 2 twin daughters. However, both of those little girls had unfortunately died under pretty interesting circumstances. And so all they're left with is their son. So once Lowen is like kind of settled in, she plans to only be there for like a week just so she can get through, you know, the manuscript and whatnot. Well, she finds an autobiography from Verity, and it's basically Verity like telling her about, like, writing about her life and like how her and Jeremy met and like just things that was going on in her life. The autobiography is like a movie. Okay, so she discovers in this autobiography that Verity is actually crazy. Like, she's actually pretty manipulative. She manipulated Jeremy into staying with her because she was so obsessed with Jeremy. Like, her whole life was Jeremy. She ended up getting pregnant with their twins. She was very upset because that meant that Jeremy was gonna love those girls more than he was gonna love her. She didn't like that. She wanted to be the center of Jeremy's world. Okay. She actually tried to kill them because she's like, well, if they just, die, then I can have Jeremy's love and attention again. Eventually, Jeremy does learn that Verity killed their daughters on purpose, and obviously he's very upset. And it turns out that he actually was the one who caused the car accident to try to kill Verity to get back at her for killing his daughters. And he was very angry when Verity didn't die. So when she got to the hospital and she actually survived, he was very, very upset. Lowen is reading the manuscript. She is getting closer to Jeremy. So this attraction keeps growing. And as the attraction keeps growing, they start messing around. So now we're getting towards the end of the book. Lowen and Jeremy, they're having an affair. Lowen is set to get paid, her advance for, working on the manuscript that she was hired for. And she's set to go back home. Well, she doesn't want to leave Jeremy because now she's pretty much falling like head over heels for Jeremy. And Jeremy is, falling in love with her. But she just wants Jeremy to know the type of crazy that Verity is, because she wants Jeremy to leave Verity. So now Lowen has decided that she's going to show Jeremy the manuscript so he can read it for himself, all the horrible things that Verity has done over the years, in hopes that he would finally file for divorce and she can have him. Well, it kind of don't work out like that. Okay, Lowen gives him the manuscript, and he's just like, and he wants to believe Lowen because he does love her. So he's just like, okay. So he walks upstairs very calmly too, with the manuscript in his hand. He goes up to Verity's room, and he's like, Verity, stop this. Talk. And she doesn't move because she's still playing. And he's like, Verity, if you don't start talking, I'm going to call the cops, and I'm going to tell them that you killed our children and that you've been faking it this whole time. That snaps her out of it. And he is so mad at her that he actually tries to kill her again for a second time. But this time, Lowen comes upstairs, and they just look at each other. They give each other the look, and they kill Verity. You know, they strangle her to death, and they make it look like, you know, she drowned in her own saliva, so that it wouldn't look suspicious. Okay, so now Verity is dead, but Jeremy now has to play the grieving husband. So Lowen goes back to New York City, so that it's not this strange girl hanging around while they're going through the funeral and like stuff like that. And he pretends to be, you know, grieving and sad for like 2 weeks. Then Lowen comes back and they become like a family unit. Lowen, Jeremy, and his son. Now Lowen's got her man. And they sell the house and everything because she doesn't want to live in the same house that he lived in with Verity. It's too creepy, it's too much. But Lowen's still under the impression that Jeremy's a good guy. Lowen is pregnant. So this is like the end of the book. So Lowen's about 7 months pregnant, I believe, in the book now. So they're about to welcome their new child. You know, they're getting the last bit of stuff out of his house with Verity. And she goes upstairs back to Verity's room just because, okay? And something tells her to like look under the floor, look under the rug, and she learns that under the rug there's a piece of floor that actually pulls up. So she pulls it up and there's a letter. And it's a letter that Verity wrote to Jeremy. And it explains in the letter that she had to pretend to be non-cognitive so that he wouldn't try to kill her again. And that the whole manuscript of her being psychotic was a writing prompt that her editor wanted her to do so that she can get into the mind of a villain. And because the stuff that was in that manuscript was very villainous. Like, what woman can kill her own child? What woman is going to be so jealous of her children that she's going to take them out so that she can have her husband to herself? That is some villainous stuff. So it turns out it was a writing exercise that she wanted to, and she was trying to explain that to Jeremy, but when Jeremy read the manuscript, he flipped out. That's why he tried to kill her and caused that car accident, because he didn't want to hear anything after that. All he read was that his children were gone because of their mother. So she wrote in that letter to him that it was a writing prompt, but you didn't give me a chance to explain, and that she was planning on just pretending to be non-cognitive just long enough so that, you know, she can get like the proceeds from the manuscripts that Lowen was going to finish for her, and then take Creed, and they were going to leave. Okay, so now Lowen finds out that Jeremy actually tried to kill his wife, and she also learns that she helped him actually kill his wife, and she was innocent. Like, the deaths of their children were really natural causes, and it was just a horrible thing that happened, but she had nothing to do with it. And once she learns that, she feels horrible, but she doesn't know, was Jeremy the villain or was Verity still the true villain? Because with Verity being an author, she could easily flip the story and make you believe whatever it is that she wants you to believe. So what was true? Was the manuscript true, or was the letter true? Was she a villain, or was she innocent and lost her life really for nothing? Does Lowen is gonna have blood on her hands, period, regardless, but does she have blood on her hands, you know, and she's now with somebody who is an actual killer, or what? So personally, my thoughts when I was reading the book, the manuscript, I don't know. I want to believe that no woman can be that heartless. That's what I want to believe. I want to believe her letter that it was just a writing prompt that cost her life, which is just really unfortunate. Some people believe the manuscript, some people believe the letter. I don't know, but this book was so good. It was such a thriller. I literally read this book in a week. I was staying up real late trying to read this book. So I definitely recommend this book from her. Kind of wish it wasn't a standalone book because it's so good. I wish there was like a part 2 because I want to know like what Loa's life turned out to be. Like, what kind of conversation did she have with Jeremy when she found this out? Well guys, that pretty much wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys are gonna try to read any of these books. I will leave the names of the books. There will be timestamps for you guys. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for hanging out with me this morning. And please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if you've read any of these books or are going to read any of these books. Let me know your review of them. If you have read these books, let me know what you thought of them. And please make sure to press that subscribe button if you haven't already. And I will see you next week.